What if I told you that simply owning 1,000 shares of a single ETF could potentially give you a steady stream of monthly income? Income that feels like a second paycheck without you clocking in for extra hours. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, in today's video, we're diving deep into JEPI, the JPMorgan Equity Premium Income ETF, and we'll explore exactly what kind of realistic monthly dividend income you could expect if you owned 1,000 shares. Stick with me, because we're going to break down the math, the risks, the benefits, and even compare it to other dividend ETFs so you walk away with a crystal clear understanding. So let's set the stage. JEPI is one of the most talked about ETFs in the dividend investing space right now. Launched by JPMorgan in 2020, JEPI has quickly gained massive popularity among income-focused investors, especially retirees and people seeking cash flow. Why? Because JEPI doesn't just rely on stock dividends. It uses a covered call strategy, which essentially means it generates additional income by selling options on the stocks it holds. The result? A high monthly payout that has caught the attention of thousands of investors across the US. But here's the big question we're tackling today. If you owned 1,000 shares of JEPI, what would your monthly dividend check realistically look like? Let's dig in. Part 1. What is JPI? First, a quick refresher for anyone new to JEPI. Ticker symbol, JEPI. Issuer, JPMorgan Asset Management. Strategy, it holds large-cap US stocks, mainly from the S&P 500, and then sells covered call options to generate additional income. Dividend payout, monthly, which is a huge selling point. Assets under management, over $30 billion, making it one of the largest actively managed ETFs. Dividend yield, typically in the range of 7 to 10% annually, depending on market conditions. So right off the bat, JEPI isn't just about stock appreciation. It's designed to give you steady monthly income, making it very appealing for retirees, passive income seekers, or anyone who loves seeing money hit their account every month. Part 2, how much is 1,000 shares worth? Okay, let's talk numbers. As of right now, JEPI trades around $55 per share. That means owning 1,000 shares would cost you about $55,000. This is an important starting point because you need to know your capital investment before dreaming about the income. So think about it like this. Would you be willing to put $55,000 into a fund that could potentially generate you hundreds of dollars in income each month? Let's find out what that really looks like. Part 3, dividend history. What has JPI paid? Now let's look at JEPI's dividend history. Since its launch in 2020, JEPI has paid out dividends every single month. The actual amount per share does fluctuate because it depends on option premiums and market performance. In 2021, the average monthly dividend was around 30 cents to 40 cents per share. In 2022, payouts were higher, often the 45 cents to 60 cents per share range. In 2023 and 2024, JEPI's dividends have averaged roughly 35 cents to 50 cents per share per month. So let's take a middle ground estimate. Say JEPI pays around 40 cents per share per month. With 1,000 shares, that comes out to about $400 every single month. Part 4, realistic monthly income. Here's the exciting part. 1,000 shares x 40 cents equals $400 per month. On an annual basis, that's about $4,800 per year in dividends. Compared to your initial investment of $55,000, that's roughly an 8.7% yield. Now, remember, this is not guaranteed. The payout varies month to month. Some months, it could be higher, maybe $500 or $600. Other months, it could dip lower, maybe $300. But averaging things out, $400 is a pretty realistic ballpark figure. Part 5, the good. Why investors love JEPI. Why are so many people flocking to JEPI? Here are the major reasons. Monthly payouts. Most ETFs pay quarterly, but JEPI pays every single month. That's perfect for people who want consistent cash flow. High yield. An 8 to 10% yield is far above what you'd get from the S&P 500 or most dividend ETFs. Stability, because it's based on large cap stocks plus covered calls. JEPI tends to be less volatile than some high yield alternatives. Professional management. You're getting JPMorgan's active management, which is attractive for those who don't want to trade options themselves. In short, JEPI feels like a paycheck. And for income investors, That's a huge psychological benefit. Part 6. The risks. What you need to know, but before you jump all in, let's talk about the other side of the coin. Dividends fluctuate. JEPI's payouts aren't fixed. Unlike a bond or a fixed annuity, the monthly dividend changes depending on market conditions. Limited upside. Because JEPI sells covered calls, your potential for capital appreciation is capped. In other words, if the market rallies 20%, JEPI might not see those full gains. Taxes. Depending on your account type, these dividends could be taxed as ordinary income, not qualified dividends, which might mean a higher tax bill. Concentration risk. JEPI's income strategy relies heavily on options premiums. If volatility in a market dries up, payouts could shrink. So, while JEPI is attractive, it's not a magic money machine. It comes with trade-offs. Part 7. Comparisons. JPI versus other dividend ETFs. Now let's put JEPI in perspective. How does it compare to other popular dividend ETFs? SCHD, Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF SCHD yields around 3 to 4% annually, much lower than JEPI, but it has better long-term growth potential. QYLD, Global X Nasdaq 100 Covered Call ETF QYLD also uses a covered call strategy, but on the Nasdaq 100. Its yield can be similar or even higher than JEPI, but its long-term performance has lagged. SPY, S&P 500 ETF SPY only yields about 1.5%, so for income, it's not even close. The bottom line, JEPI is more income-focused, while funds like SCHD or SPY are better for long-term growth. Part 8. Who is JPI for? So who should consider owning 1,000 shares of JEPI? Retirees who want monthly income to cover expenses. Investors who prefer cash flow over growth. People who want exposure to large-cap US stocks, but with an income twist, but may not be ideal for. Younger investors who want maximum growth potential. People who dislike fluctuating dividends. Those in high tax brackets, holding it in taxable accounts. JEPI shines brightest for income-focused investors who want to see that monthly deposit hit their account. So there you have it. Owning 1,000 shares of JEPI, worth about $55,000, could realistically generate around $400 per month in dividends. Sometimes more, sometimes less. That's real money. That's a car payment, a utility bill, or a few nice dinners out every single month, all without selling a single share. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you own JEPI? How much monthly income are you currently seeing? And do you reinvest those dividends or use them as cash flow? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you found value in this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more dividend and ETF content, and check out my other videos where I compare JEPI to SCHD and QYLD. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.